What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Hardworking Happy Hour. I'm Sean.
And I'm Catherine, and as always, we'll be breaking down all things trades, entrepreneurship, and turning your creativity into a passion career. All right, Sean.
Hey,
how you doing?
Kathy, what's up?
Oh, not much. I've just been having a great old time. How about
Having
you?
a great old time.
Yeah.
Getting over that COVID-19.
Yeah.
Wow. How was it?
That was fine.
Thought you were immune.
I thought I was too.
There's
I
only
lasted
one left
3.5
standing.
No, Anthony hasn't gotten it either, right? Two left standing.
Two left standing. That's true, yeah. Yeah. Nothing. Anthony can't get sick. He's too strong. Nothing
Even
wants
if
to
he
live
were
inside
sick,
that body.
which he probably has been, he just would.
Brush it off.
He wouldn't say anything about
Yeah,
it.
of
He would
course.
just suffer in silence.
Of course.
But yeah.
Like a lot of men do out there. So if you're feeling something, don't be afraid to talk to someone. Just throw that out there.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah, but I had COVID, so I'm really sorry that we missed a week. I really hated to do that, but we tried to make it work, but I couldn't pull it together. And it wouldn't have made for good radio anyway.
We didn't want to release something subpar and have you like all tired.
It would have been bad. So anyway, we're back to the grind. Back to the hustle.
The grind.
What did I miss?
Well, we have to find a new employee.
Oh shit, I missed a lot.
Yeah. That actually happened before you went down with the COVID-19.
Yeah.
I really feel like they need like a
anybody
rebrand on that. 19's like, it was like 5 years ago.
I feel like everyone's just calling it COVID now. I feel like you're
still
going
stuck
old
with the
school.
19.
Yeah, you're going old school with it. Just call it the vid.
The vid. All right, anyway.
Well, you can call it whatever you want.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
But
anyway,
honestly,
yes.
just sidebar, the last thing I'll say about COVID. I'm really glad that I got it now as opposed to during travel season because we're about to go to like 5 shows in a row.
Yeah.
So really glad I got it out of the way. Highly recommend it.
Getting it out of the way,
if anyone can just go ahead and get it now, and then you don't have to worry about it during travel season.
You should have coughed into a jar and then sent it to people that want to just get it out of the way.
I could have sold it.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity there.
Anyway, so this week what we want to talk about is finding, hiring, why somebody left, employees, all that kind of stuff, because we are losing one of our own.
Are we going to say why he left?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. All right. Yeah, I didn't know how.
Of course.
I don't know. Is that personal? That might be a...
Catherine was abusing him. Physically, emotionally.
I just get angry sometimes.
Yes. No, so it's a part of running a business. You're going to have employees that come and go.
Yeah.
And
we kind of needed another person anyway.
Yeah,
but
so
now
maybe
that,
we're hiring two.
Yeah, so now that this person is leaving, it's just kind of like, well, okay. Kind of lit the fire under our butts to
get the process started.
Yep.
So Tom is leaving us. Tom is moving on to greener pastures.
Literally.
Literally?
Because he's going to
working
be
on a pasture? A groundskeeper.
Yeah.
He's going to be like groundskeeper Willie.
He's going to be working
from The
on
Simpsons.
greener pastures.
That's true. So he's leaving us, and we're sad. We're sad to see him go. Our organization of the trailer and the job site is going to suffer in the short term, but we will pull ourselves up by the bootstraps.
You know, we need to learn from his lessons that he has instilled, and we need to carry them forward.
It's ingrained
we need to have
in
that
us now.
mentality. Yeah,
exactly.
He set the precedent, and it's our job to upkeep it.
That's a great way of looking at it. So can't blame him. He got the opportunity to work for a school district, state benefits, pension, great salary, great hours. His sister's the principal at one of those schools, so that kind of got him in the door, and it was just kind of a really good opportunity for him. So we are not happy with him, but we're happy for him. No, we're it's part of business.
Yeah.
People are going to move on, and we're happy that it's, everything's on good terms. He just had an opportunity that, you can't blame him. He couldn't pass it up.
Yeah.
So he's already thinking about retirement. He's like, I got this pension I got, so 30 years, I'm out.
Yeah. I don't, I've never had a pensioned job, so I don't fully understand how it works, but...
Me either,
Isn't
really.
he kind of hitting it late in the game? Isn't like a pension job, you want to get those when you're like 22, so then you can retire when you're like 60?
Well, I think most of these pension jobs, it's like 25 or 30 years. You just put in the time and then you get the full pension. So that's why like a lot of police officers, they start young and it's usually like 25 years and then they can retire full pension. So my brother-in-law, he only has like 12 years left. So by the time he's like 50, I think even before 50, he's going to retire with a full pension. That's why I see a lot of cops, like they'll go get another job somewhere else because they're like between 45 and 50. They already have a full pension. They can go work somewhere else, still collect that full pension,
Double
get another
income. That's
salary.
pretty cool.
Yeah. So
Seems like a great way to do it. Okay.
definitely does. But I also watch a lot of American Greed. You watch that show?
No, but I
You
have
don't
heard
watch
you.
that?
No, but I've heard you talk about
This
it.
week on American Greed. Pension plans, a lot of times those funds are misallocated.
Oh,
It's a big target for these scammers. So hopefully that doesn't happen.
And then those people are just like out their entire
Pretty
pension?
much, yeah. There's
Oh,
been a lot
God.
of them on like people that handled benefit plans for like unions and stuff. And then like there's just no money.
So if you get a
It's all
pension,
gone. Yeah.
you just get that you get that amount until you die, or is it like you get it for a certain amount of years?
I think it's until you die. I don't know. I don't know how it works. The numbers don't seem to work out that way.
Yeah.
I don't see how that would work, but I don't know.
Either way, good
Either
for
way.
him.
Good for him.
It would suck to know that you're starting that 25-year clock now, though. Like, I know that I'm going to be working for 25 more years,
Yeah.
but to know that I'm like putting in, starting day one of that
You're just
25
looking
years,
at that
you'd be
calendar
like,
like, come on. Yeah. So that has led us on the journey of looking for new employees.
Yeah.
And we were kind of, Aunt especially was like, hey, we need another person out here. So, we'll probably be hiring 2 new people, but we'll probably stagger it.
Yeah.
Get one person in the door, get them acquainted, get them up to speed before we just throw two newbies out on the job site
Right.
for Aunt to teach. So, we're starting that process. It's very exciting.
It is. It is.
The last time we went through it was with Tom. No, it was with Steve. Forgot about Steve. Steve's very excited about not being the new guy anymore.
Oh, I bet.
He
yeah.
is. So
His harassment mostly came from Tom, so I feel like
I know.
he's just double downing on the luck.
yeah, he really is. So
Tom was excited to not be the new guy.
yep.
Took it out on Steve. Now
He
Steve
did.
can take it out on the new guy.
Yep, it's like kind of like generational trauma. Anyway, so let's talk a little bit about our process, how we're going about it, what we're looking for, and how we're going to kind of sift through this, because this week we are starting to set up calls with all of these potential employees. So let's just kind of start from the top. We'll talk about kind of how we got the word out,
Yeah.
and what the process is going to look like.
Yeah. So we are in the wonderful position of having all the social media at our fingertips. So that is what our plan was. We launched it to all of our... Launched it?
Exclaimed it from the mountaintops.
We exclaimed it from the mountaintops of our social media. And we got, pretty quickly some pretty good applicants. The one bad part about it, though, is we do have to sift through all the people who are, like, not near
Around
here
here, yeah.
or, like, even in this country that are, like...
Would you hire me?
Yeah, we got a lot of, like, you got to sponsor the visa or whatever, which is, like...
I don't know how to do that, or
how
that
to-
just seems
yeah, that
like a lot
seems-
of work.
Yeah.
You get here and then apply again, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. But we did get some good applicants right off the bat. So we just set up calls with them. We let it simmer for like
A week
a week or so, a little
Yeah.
more than a week because I was out
with COVID-19.
with COVID. So it simmered a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
It overheated a little bit, maybe.
It boiled over.
It boiled over.
Yeah.
But now we have calls set up with these people, and usually what we do, and by usually I mean we've done this twice. We like set up an initial call with the people. We chit chat about the position, just kind of feel them out, get an idea of like what they want, what kind of position they're interested in, because we did have like one person apply who was more of like an operations manager type person.
Yeah.
And we were like, well, okay, that's not real. That would be a great skill to have if they're going to be taking over this like organizational part of it, but that's not quite what we need. So we just kind of want to, flesh it out, talk to them about it, talk to them about the role. And then once we do that, then we do more of like an in-person interview, which I think that this time we will bring in Ant.
Yeah.
To kind of get because he's going to be the person who's ultimately responsible for like
the production out of this person.
Yeah, the hands-on, and he's gonna have to train them if they need it or whatever. So I think that I think this time around it's gonna be good to really have him involved.
Absolutely.
In that process.
Yeah, for sure. And what I want to talk about is the kind of different types of people that we've had apply, and this is over multiple job openings. The same thing comes up. It's like somebody comes from the industry where they're sort of doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. They have all the skills and they just jump right into it. And then there's other people that have like an inclination towards this type of work. They do it on the side, but they're currently in a different career and they're looking to transition. So that's what we did with Tom. Tom was working at Lowe's as an assistant manager. And, so the one thing that I like about that coming from another industry where...
We did that with me, Tom, and Steve, just...
Yeah.
To point it out. But yeah, keep going.
Yeah. Well, anyway, thanks for interrupting. I totally lost my steam. But the thing I like about that is they're going to make a jump from something completely different. So I love that they're going to come at it with a fresh perspective. Mm-hmm. And when they do come from another occupation or another industry, they must have really put in thought, like, I want to be in this industry now. Yeah. It's not like, hey, this is just all I've ever done, so this is all I know. I'm just going to keep doing this. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing I really like about someone coming from outside. The other nice thing is that we do things a little bit differently. We've kind of adapted our own methods for how we do things, certain details. So it sometimes feels a little bit easier to just train somebody rather than retrain somebody. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So something to think about there.
Yeah.
Something to think about. The other thing about coming from another industry, especially when it's something that is like a serious career that they've already had, something that they've put a lot of time and years into, is that it just shows you that person is very serious. Mm-hmm. Like they're leaving something that they're established in. They've worked somewhere for a long time. That was the situation with you and with Tom. Tom had worked at Lowe's for like 10 years. You had been in commercial real estate for 10 years. Mm-hmm. So when somebody leaves something like that to jump into something new, that it's more likely to not just be on a whim. It's like really thought out. They're giving something up that they've put a lot of time and energy into building.
Yeah.
And they're going to jump into something new. So I like that. It feels like they're going to take that more seriously.
Yeah.
Than somebody that just comes from within the industry. Like we were talking about this with Ant today. It's like you hire somebody from within the industry, they can get a job anywhere. If you're a carpenter and you have those skills, you could get hired here and be like, I don't really like this that much. I'm going to go apply somewhere else. Like you can always find a job. Mm-hmm. It's a lot different for somebody that makes this huge jump into something completely new. Yeah, they could probably go back to the old thing, or I just feel like they're more likely to go into it with the intention of staying for the long haul.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's like an excitement about learning a new position rather than usually if someone from the industry is leaving, it's because they don't like their current job. It's not like, I was a roofer and now I'm so excited to try deck building, which maybe that's different enough that they would be excited. But like, if you're just another builder going to another builder, it's usually like, I wasn't getting along with my boss and, it didn't really work out. I'll try it out over here and see how it goes. But if you're leaving a whole industry, it's kind of like, wow, I'm really excited to learn this entire new field. There's like an excitement for learning there, which I think is really good to be like to coach your employees. That's an employee who wants to learn is a very coachable employee. So it makes the position better.
I agree. It makes it not worse.
Makes it not worse.
It makes it not more bad.
More bad.
More good. Yes.
But you are sacrificing that. Like even when Ant was talking about it today, he was like, when I expect if I'm like running the last 2 joists, I expect the new guy to already be bringing me the rim or something. So you do kind of lose that. Like if a person doesn't already know, they're not going to be able to anticipate the needs of what's next for a little while. They'll get there.
Yeah.
But at first it's going to, take the learning and, learning how to work with each other and all that kind of stuff. So you are sacrificing that and the efficiency and making your existing employees happy. So that kind of stinks. But
yeah, but that's where like, even if they don't necessarily know what's the next thing, it's an attitude thing where you can see like they're not just like, there's 2 types of people on a job site. There's a person that's looking for what's going to be next and actively thinking like, okay, let me get this ready. Or I don't know what's coming next, but I'm not doing anything. So let me like clean up some stuff.
Yeah.
Or there's the person that's like, all right, get me 5 2x4s. They get 5 2x4s and then they just stand there waiting for the next directive.
Yeah.
And it seems like people either fall into 1 or 2 of those camps. And I'm sure everybody listening has worked with both of those types of people.
Yeah.
And it seems like from the very beginning, you'll see people that are just okay, you told me what to do. I did that thing. Now I'm going to stand here and wait for the next directive. They never transition into that other person that like is actively engaged in the process and is like, okay, let me anticipate what's next, or let me just do this thing that I know needs to be done. It's not like crucial right now, but if we clean this up now, we're done with it for the day. It's going to make the end of the day easier. Like things like that seem to like not really be coachable as much. And it's really hard to change somebody from the stand around person to the let me see what needs to be done.
Yes.
Do you agree?
I do agree with that. Yeah.
What type of person would you say you are?
I absolutely hate standing around doing nothing. So I'm usually if I don't know what's next, I just find something else to do.
Yeah. I'd agree with that.
And I don't know if that's more me being proactive or just me hating sitting around, but either way, it gets the job done.
You're either proactive or anti-stagnant.
Yeah. I think I'm anti-stagnant.
Yeah, you definitely derive more power off just being anti whatever. So even if it's like the same thing, I think you do find more power in just being like, I'm not standing around. I hate standing around.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
What do you think you are?
I'm a little bit of like all over the place, I'd say.
You're more like attack 5 things at once.
Yes.
A little bit at a time.
Yes, I'm tactical in that sense. So the only position available to me that I'll thrive in is the boss, where no one can fire me. So, yeah. But let's get into what we're going to be like looking for from a personal perspective from these people. Like, how are we going to try to tease out who these people really are through a phone call and then through a subsequent interview.
Okay.
So you got any thoughts to start that off there?
Well,
should I be also sidebar?
Yeah.
Side question. Should everyone else be like gatekeepers around me? Like I'm the final boss. Like you got to get through an interview process with you and with Anthony, and then I will be revealed from behind a curtain. And I've been there the whole time. You just didn't see me.
Wizard of Oz situation.
Exactly, yeah.
No, I don't think that should be the way that happens at all.
Okay.
I think that's just a waste of time. And from an employee situation or like a interviewee,
yes,
nothing feels more like you're wasting somebody's time than making them do like 7 interviews where they say the exact same things over and over again.
Yeah.
That's inefficient. I don't like that.
Yeah. True.
But what we will be looking for, we have the added, there's like a person who can produce, a person who can learn or whatever, but we also have the added, how are they going to be with content? Like, how are they going to be with the camera in their face the whole time?
Yeah.
So I feel like that's always kind of in the back of my mind. Like, are they all, even if they're awkward, everyone's awkward at first. So that's fine.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just kind of funny.
Yeah.
So I feel like kind of just seeing what kind of character they have is just
making sure that they fit in with the cast.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel like we all have pretty big personalities. You have to have like pretty thick skin to work around us.
Yeah.
So
it's a very toxic workplace. Yeah.
So I feel like that's another little added thing. Just,
yeah.
I don't want to say that we hire for personality because I don't think that that's the case fully. I think it's part of it for sure, but not the only factor. But I think that I feel like Anthony will be more of the technical judge and feel like he can work with this person or whatever, and then you and I can more flesh out whether they're going to be a personality fit.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because even if like we have to think about it probably a little bit more, because it's like, yeah, we're going to be filming everything that we do. Like, how is this person going to fit in that regard? But it's almost the same thing if you're not filming. Like, the person needs to fit in and mesh with the personalities that are on site. So I think it just puts more of a spotlight on something that's already important, even if you're not doing that. Because, you're working alongside this person all the time. You want to get along with the person. You want your personalities to mesh. You want like your work style to be compatible. Yeah. And especially on a small team, that's super important. We want everybody to have a good time when they're at work. We want everybody to get along. We want it to be just easy from that perspective. And ultimately, that's going to be the best for the new employee, for all of us. So we want to make sure that it's a good fit from that perspective. And you have to try to sort of tease that out from them through a few brief interactions, which can be really tough.
Yeah.
I'll say a couple things that I like to see from an interviewee is when they're like, you can feel their excitement about it, and they're like, come on, like, hire me. I'm the person. And Tom and Steve both did that. Yeah. And it really just showed like you felt like they wanted it. Like, Steve was like, come on, let's do this. Like, I get it. I get what you're after. Like, let's do this. Let's make this happen.
You loved that.
I did love that.
You wanted to hire him on the spot.
I did. And you were like, no, we can't do that. We need to think about this, which was a good idea. But I want that like excitement, like somebody that wants the job.
Yeah.
Like, they feel like this is really a unique opportunity and they want to grab it. You only get one shot. Don't miss your chance to interview.
But on the I hate to be the naysayer, but on the flip side, that kind of also feels to me like impulsive. And if they're impulsive to take your job, then they're going to be impulsive to take the next job.
Could be true, but I do just love a good impulsive decision,
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And I have been known to just like blow up my life and do things impulsively too. And that's fine. Mm-hmm. But that's always like with Steve was so excited, and it was a job that he really wanted to do rather than a job that he was doing like surveying or something.
Yeah.
Which I don't even really fully understand what that was, but he didn't like it. And this was an opportunity to do something that he really was passionate about and creative about. So I do understand where his excitement came from.
Yeah.
But it does, to me, it's easy to get excited, but you do kind of need to step back and think about it and just take your time. So
yeah.
That's in that situation. That's why I was like, Sean, we are not going to hire you on the spot right now. We need to wait about it. Like, think about it.
Yeah.
Really do our due diligence, because there is just value in, just taking a step back.
I agree.
Because impulsive decisions are often replicated. So that's why I'm worried if someone is just like, yes, I'll do it. I'm so excited. And then something else comes along. They're like, you know what? That's actually really exciting, and I'll do that.
That's true. I didn't think of it that way, but that's a really good point. So some of the things that we'll start with on the initial call is just obviously getting a sense for who they are, what their experience is, what they're doing now, and what they've done the last couple years, like what their whole story is, what expertise they're coming to the table with. Big thing for me is, why are you leaving your current job? Mm-hmm. Like, is it something where you just feel like you have topped out there, you feel like there's no room for advancement, or there's no challenge in it? Those things are good things. Mm-hmm. Or is it just something like, I hate my boss, I don't get along with my coworkers, like, and how like urgent is it that they need a job? That's always a red flag. Like, I need this job and I need to start now.
Right.
That's always a red flag. You want somebody that is thinking this through, that really wants the job, but doesn't absolutely need the job right now. And a lot of times, if you are in the trades and you're coming from that side of it, where you have the skills, there's really not much of a reason that you should be unemployed.
Yeah.
Because there's so many opportunities. If you have skills, it's easy to find a job. So that's a little concerning. And it's more concerning if you're coming from not this field and you don't have a job because you're coming with no skills. And what's the reason that you don't have a job right now?
Yeah.
So that's always a little bit concerning. Also, somebody that bounces around a lot on their resume, if they work, each place for like 1 year, that can be a little bit of a red flag.
Yeah.
Sometimes there can be like an outlier, like they might have a reason as to why they were doing these things. Like I learned this, like I, kind of maxed out. The company wasn't built for me to progress.
Yeah.
So I went to this company. I wanted to get these skills. Something like that can be explained. And that's the kind of stuff that we're trying to get out of them, that you need to dive a little bit deeper than just what's on the resume.
Yeah. What do you think if someone, like I feel like in the trades, a lot of people's end goal is usually to own their own business. So what if someone, you saw on someone's resume, they've bounced around to like in 6 years, they've worked 5 different places, but it's because they wanted to gain all these different skills strategically. If they told you, they were like, I'm going to work here for 2 years. I really want to learn this side of the business. What do you think? Would you hire that person or would you not hire that person?
I would say no, probably not, because there are a lot of people in the trades that want to own their own business, and which is a great thing. And you can't fault anybody for wanting to do that, because, you don't want to look back and be like, I always wanted to start my own business and I never did. Mm-hmm. So I think one of the best things about Ant was he was like, look, I did my own business thing. I don't want to do that. I hated it. Like, I'm a carpenter. I want to build stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with all that other stuff. I hated that. So that's a good thing. Like, if they've gotten that out of their system a little bit, like, because some people are like, it's like a phase,
Once they've got that beaten out of them.
Yeah. Once they've really
That's all
just,
their hope is broken.
But some people just realize, like, I don't like this. This is not what I want to do. And I think most people in the trades, like, that is where they want to go. And I think part of that is because a lot of private companies, like where you're not working, a union job, like you're just working for like a family-ish carpentry business, historically that hasn't been like a great career path. A lot of times it's smaller companies. There's only so high you can go. And that's the thing that we have to try to like fight with. We have to try to build the company so that there are opportunities for people to grow within the company. So a lot of that is stuff that we have to reflect on and build the business around, showing people, hey, there is a path here to grow. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people historically look at these types of jobs working for smaller companies and they just think, hey, this is like where I'm going to top out. Like, depending on what the company is, it might not be that high. And they think that the only way to really make a good living and live, somewhat comfortably is to have their own business. I think hopefully that's changing in the trades. Like, a lot of people are building their business in a more sustainable way and, really getting to know their numbers so that they can provide a good living to their employees because they've realized the benefit of that.
Yeah.
But that's something that a lot of people are going to want to do. So if they haven't gone out on their own yet, it's something you always got to think about. Like, even if they don't talk about it, it's like, this person's young. That's probably something that they have in their mind that they want to do at some point.
Yeah.
And, you can't fault them for it. You can't hold that against them. And ultimately, a lot of people, like my dad owned a construction company. So he had a lot of people work for him for years and then go out on their own. Some of those people went out, did great. Some of them decided, you know what, I don't like this and I just want to work and make money. And they came back. So if you end on good terms and you just kind of leave that door open, that person might come back to you. So if somebody was really gung-ho, like, look, this is my plan, in 1 year, I'm going to jump ship and I'm going to start my own thing, I don't think that that would be a good fit. if it's something that they're thinking, eventually this is one of my goals, my goal would be show them that they can make a comfortable living working here and show them the benefits of all the things that they don't have to worry about. And if they still end up going out on their own, that's fine. And hopefully the relationship was left in a good place where if it doesn't work out or they just don't like it, they can come back.
Yeah.
And you have somebody that you've already trained.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think that's great. I think that's a great mentality to have about it.
Cool.
All right.
Awesome. Yeah, I like that. All right. Well, what else? Do you have any like interesting questions you think you'll ask or want to know about, like on that initial phone call? Because phone call's a little tough.
Yeah, I feel like phone calls are tough.
That's just like a general screen.
Yeah, I think I feel like the phone call will just be quick and a general screen and just making sure that people are on the same page. I also like to get like the money questions kind of out of the way.
Yeah.
Not that you need to say like you are going to make this much money, but like kind of give an idea and get an idea of what they want, just because there's no point in talking to somebody if you're like, all right, we'll bring you in at 65,000 and they're like, okay, well I was making 110 last year. Like you're not going to get to a mutual point. So it's, to me, I don't like to waste times with these things. It's not, there's no point in like kind of beating around the bush and stuff. So I'd rather just on that first phone call, like kind of just get a feel for what the situation is, what expectations are. And then if that's all good and dandy, then you move to the in person.
Yeah. The Starbucks interview.
That we do.
It's our place of business.
I do love asking like really ridiculous random questions to people just because I feel like it throws them off their game a little bit. And you get like a genuine feel for what they're like as a person when you ask them like a silly question and then they...
Like what?
Either like I don't know, like a ridiculous like would you rather question. I think that those are funny to ask during an interview because
would you rather work here or at your current job?
That's a great question.
Yeah. So ridiculous and silly.
But I think that that's just a good way to get a feel for people's personalities. Like if they're like, if they're just like, I don't know, that's a dumb question. Like then, they're not going to be a good fit. But if they're like, I feel like it's just a good gauge.
Yeah.
There's no meaning behind it. They can answer however they want. But if they're like a good sport about it, then it's...
Yeah. Or if they come up with like a creative answer, it's like, oh, that's interesting. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that can also like people might come in with like kind of not like a script, but like in their head, like these are the things I'm going to say.
Exactly.
And like this is how I'm going to present myself. When you ask one or a few questions that are just like completely arbitrary and like kind of off the wall, it sort of like throws them off. And then like when you get back into like questions that are actually applicable, they might just be kind of more authentic.
Exactly. It like makes people let their guard down.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good point to get to in an interview.
It's a great point.
Everybody knows what you're supposed to say in an interview. Like,
I'm a hard worker.
What are my strengths? I'm a hard worker and I'm passionate. What are your weaknesses? It's that I care too much about what I do. Like everyone knows what you're supposed to say.
Yeah.
Ask them like, would you rather be trapped in a room full of bees or eat a jellyfish?
That's a really good question. Oh my God. What would you rather do?
Well, I just saw a TikTok, which obviously that means it's fact, that bees, the frequency of the noise that they make or whatever is like some sort of healing vibration.
Okay.
And so maybe being in a room full of bees, in this TikTok, they said that this is why beekeepers like live to be very old or something. I'm not actually sure if it's true, but because of that, I'll go with the bee thing.
Okay. Yeah, I guess if they're like bumblebees and they're nice bees, but what about like wasps or hornets?
Now there's the pickle. I don't like wasps. There was a wasp on my porch the other day. It was the size of my thumb, and I didn't go outside for a little bit because of it.
That's a good point. You don't want COVID plus a huge wasp sting. That would be no good.
And I got stung by a wasp the other day at work.
You did?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I know, and you've said that like twice about it.
So sorry.
I was sitting outside, and I was like, Sean, where's the first aid kit? This is really itchy, and I want to put that, whatever the wipe is, on it.
Yeah. How'd that turn out? Are you okay?
It didn't help, no.
Are you okay now?
I'm okay now, yeah. I did make it through.
Traumatized at all?
No, it was just itchy. It was like surprisingly incredibly itchy. It didn't hurt that bad. It was just very itchy.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So
are you going bees or swallowing a jellyfish? You didn't answer.
At least said eat it, not swallow the whole thing like whole. I don't know. I don't.
You have to consume the whole thing.
Can you use a knife and a fork?
No. You got to bite into it.
Is it dead or alive?
Does that matter?
Yes.
I feel like they're not going to react in any kind of way if they're dead or alive. They're kind of just blobs of goo.
Yeah, but I feel like if they're dead, like they don't sting.
No, they definitely do.
If they're dead?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if you step on a dead one in the
and it's on the beach, you get stung. Yeah.
I guess I'll go bees.
Okay.
That would like kill you if you tried to eat it and it was like stinging your esophagus. That'd be horrible.
I feel like the biting into the jellyfish would be. I mean, obviously the stinging would be horrible, but like biting into a jellyfish because you couldn't swallow it whole. Those are pretty big. You have to chew it. Chewing a jellyfish sounds horrible.
Yeah, it does. Anyway, all right. Well,
that was a solid tangent.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that observation. That was a solid tangent. Okay, so yeah, we talk to the people over the phone. We get to, we kind of sift through some of the duds, no offense, and some of the people that just, aren't going to be a good fit. Kind of like interviewing a client, sort of. Making sure that they're a good fit, that your goals are aligned, that you're going to be the right fit for them. And then you move to the in-person, and that's where you can get a better feel for really who the person is. At this point, you've had all the questions answered about what their experience is, what their skills are. You're never really going to know if they have all the skills that they say until they're on the job site. So you kind of have to take that stuff at face value. And then when you get to meet them in person, you can kind of get a better feel for the personality and the attitude and just the ease of conversation with somebody. You can just kind of get a sense, are they going to be a good fit? How are they going to fit in with the crew? And just a general sense of their attitude about things, If they're very dry, that could be maybe a sign that, I don't know if this is going to be a good fit on our crew. We need somebody that's, either lively or funny awkward, We can't have somebody that's just awkward.
Yeah.
So something to think about there.
I do have a question.
Okay.
Which I probably know the answer to, but how do you feel about doing not a full background check, obviously, but light background checks about their social media presence?
Oh, definitely. Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just do a deep dive on them?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. You have to.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just a no-brainer. I thought you meant a real background check.
No. I'm just talking for the sake of.
Yeah.
Some people feel that's too personal or that shouldn't matter or what okay, so since you do doing them, what are you looking for when you do a social media
stuff
background
that's
check?
Not the person seems deranged. If they're posting insane things, it's this person, I don't know, something seems off. Or I don't know, just something that if they're posting a bunch of stuff that we don't want to be associated with, it's just, I don't know, I can't even think of any examples, but if they just seem deranged and it's this is not a good reflection of who we are as a business, that is something that would probably, in my mind, disqualify them. Or if, they're just if they've been playing Farmville for the last 9 months and it's I thought you were at work and you're posting about getting more tokens, more crops on Farmville, something ain't right here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, just stuff like that. I mean, you kind of get a sense. I feel like Facebook is really the place where you get a sense of how kooky somebody is, what stuff they share.
Yeah, and I feel like Facebook is the oldest one, so
yeah,
you can kind of, not that anyone wants to go back 10 years if they're a regular poster, but if they're not a regular poster and you go back 10 years, but all of it is really kooky stuff, you're okay, this is
this is a pattern of kookiness. This is not just a blip on the radar.
Yeah,
this is a pattern of
this is a real problem over
just
here.
Really odd thing. So yeah, totally.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah, I feel recently I've seen on the news a bunch of times where it's someone who commits some sort of heinous crime And then they're like, yeah, and looking back on their Facebook posts, it's been all like
the signs have been there.
horrible stuff. And it's like, has no one been monitoring this? No one was like,
yeah,
hey, so-and-so's posting some crazy stuff. Maybe check that person out. So at this point, I kind of feel like it would be irresponsible to not look at that stuff. But I know that people kind of feel like it's an invasion of privacy.
Well, if they want privacy, then make it a private profile that you can't see anything. You know,
sure.
That's on them. It's public information, so I'm gonna access it. I'm gonna see what you're all about. So don't be weird. Yeah. So I think I'm excited to jump into the phone portion because that's where I think you really start to narrow down like, okay, this person isn't going to be a fit, or this person sounds really promising. Like, you know, I really could see this person working out.
Yeah.
The in-person interview is more to like confirm what you think about this person already. And I'm excited for the whole process. Mm-hmm. You know, it's tough to go into the process from the beginning because it's like, oh God, we have to bring somebody new on. We have to like, you know, have this unknown person come into the crew. We have to train somebody. You know, it takes away from productivity just to like go through all the interview process, set up all the calls, meet with people, do all of the back end stuff of like, you know, dealing with the payroll company and the benefits and all that kind of stuff. So one thing I just want to touch on is like my initial reaction is almost like, you know what, forget it. Like we can do this without a new person. Like I'll just be belt on more. Like we can do this. If I'm like 100% productive at all moments of the day, I can squeeze all of my quote unquote van work into like 1 hour a day. And it's really easy to convince yourself of that and kind of bypass that short-term thing that's going to be a bit of a pain, like going through the whole process, but you're holding yourself back in the long run. So that's always the first thing that just like runs through my mind, and I have to like push that aside and be like, okay, we've been here before. We've been through this. It's an impossible expectation for me to think that I can do all of these things and be on site all the time and actually be a productive person in all of these roles. So I always have to like pull myself back from that place to talk myself back into, all right, this is ultimately what we need for my sanity, for everyone else's sanity, so that people aren't like, okay, Sean said he was going to be here to help me install this thing that needs 2 people, but now he's out on a call doing something. It's really easy to talk yourself into that place, especially when you started the business kind of doing everything yourself. You're wearing all the hats in the beginning. It's like, I've done this before, I can do it again, but the place that we're at now is not the place that we were back then when I was doing that stuff. My life is not in the same place it is now than it was when I was able to, you know, do all the things during the day and then work at night and all that kind of stuff. So, just want to throw that out there because that can be a trap for a lot of people. Like, you know what, screw this. Like, invested all this time into somebody, they're leaving. I don't want to go through that again. But what do I always say?
Something to think about?
No, don't be mad that it's over. Be happy that it happened.
Yeah, you are always saying that.
I said it a couple times. I said it earlier today, I remember. But yeah, don't be scared of jumping into it because once you get past that initial like reservation, it's exciting.
Yeah.
It's exciting. Somebody new is going to come along. What kind of like fun skills they're going to have. Tom came in with like the ability to get us organized, which previous to that, we had not been able to really get our hands around.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of stuff like the trailer, there wasn't really good organization in place. And he kind of enjoyed that. Like he, like at the end of the day or like towards the end of a job, you know, there wouldn't be that much to do. You'd find him over at the trailer, just like putting stuff away, organizing stuff, cleaning stuff out. And that can be super helpful because he did that on the last job. We pull up to the new job. The trailer's cleaned out. It's ready to go, where it's very easy to get in that mode where the end of a job, it's like, throw everything in the trailer. Let's get out of here. We'll deal with it later. And then you kind of don't. So, you know, who knows what kind of like new skills this person is going to introduce to the team and take us to hopefully a new frontier.
Yeah. That is a nice way to look at it.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. You got anything else on that?
That was a pretty hard-hitting news story here, but I wonder if people don't know about that.
Yeah, there was a person, a murderer escaped from prison in PA and was on the run in like a very small radius for 14 days.
Yeah, he was like, it was like within a mile of where he escaped or whatever for like a week of it, and then he got a car, and then he only went like
10 miles.
10 miles away or something, right?
It was crazy.
And then he ran out of gas, so he had to ditch the car.
Yep.
People
were still on the lam for like another
scared.
week after that.
Yeah, and
crazy.
he was like stealing people's clothes off their clothesline, and he stole somebody's gun at some point.
Yeah.
And he was, the best part about it, I thought, was he was like a 5 foot tall man, and everyone kept making fun of how short he was, and that's a mean thing to do to a normal person. But I feel like somebody who's like a murderer, he's probably like, oh, guys, I'm not that tiny, you know?
Yeah, he was like literally like 5 feet tall.
Yeah,
like 5 flat.
So I just liked envisioning him being like out in the woods somewhere, like, guys, I'm tough.
Yeah.
I'm not tiny, I'm tough. Anyway,
yeah. Let's get into the bad sales story. This was sent in from Nate at Delgado Construction.
Yes.
And this one is funny and adorable and seems like a humongous pain. So here's the story. Gets a call for just some, like, you know, a couple of little things. The inquiry was a little bit vague, so he goes out and meets with this woman, and it is a sweet little old lady, and she is walking him through the house, and she wanted a couple things done, like some doors and some windows, and but every time he tried to get to the thing that she had called about, she showed him something else that was just like something really small that needed fixing. Like, this curtain rod fell down. Can you, can you help me with this real quick? And then it was like, I need to change this light bulb, but I can't reach it. And she went on for like all of these like really little tasks, which were not a big deal. And she was like the sweetest little old lady. So he like did all these things for her, and he ended up being there for almost 3 hours.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't even know like how to, like, whether this is a bad sales story that you should avoid, or like you just earned your spot in heaven by doing such a nice thing.
That sweet little old lady.
As an isolated incident, that's a great thing to do, and you just earned so much good karma.
Yeah.
But you can't get trapped in that on an ongoing basis, or you will never make any money doing things for free for little old ladies. She probably was preying on you. Not in like a prayer way, in like a
predatory way.
Yeah, like
she was taking advantage of his goodness.
Exactly.
She was playing on that, oh, well, while you're here.
I'm just a little old lady.
Just a little old lady.
Yeah.
Can you hang up that curtain for me?
Yeah.
They'll get you.
Something you got to think about, but I never really thought about that. You're out on a call, and it's just this nice, sweet little old lady, and you know, hey, can you help me with this real quick? And as soon as you do the first thing, it's like, all right, well, when am I going to say, hey, lady, stop? And none of the things are like big things. They're all like very little things. They're only going to take a couple minutes, but then there's 5 stories in between each thing, that, you know, and you're trying to get to the thing that she actually called about, and yeah, so spending a few hours helping a little old lady can be a pain to your business, but in the end, I think you earned some really good karma there. But that could have all been avoided with groundwork. Do a video walkthrough with little old lady, and if she keeps talking for too long, just cut it off. No, but that could have been avoided. And if you want to try out Groundwork for video consultations and video walkthroughs of potential projects, check it out. Groundwork. Use code HardworkingHappyHour50 to get 50% off your first 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about it, but Groundwork seems like a great opportunity to just cut out the chit chat. Like, obviously you're cutting out all these weird stories that we tell, and you know, the awkwardness of that, but like without the chit chat, you got a whole lot of time just freed up.
Absolutely. The chit chat is what kills you.
Yeah.
And that's like the biggest thing when I stopped doing on-site consultations. It was just like, you don't have that chit chat. You chit chat for like maybe 30 seconds. Like, yeah, how's it going? Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. How's it going? Oh, hey, it's Friday. Huh? Getting through the week. And then you just get right down to business. Like you don't have to like sit there and like, you're just straight down to business. I can sit there and stare at my notepad and like take notes. I don't have to like look at them and like have like a conversation. So you can cut out that chit chat and put that chit chat time right in your bank account.
Right.
Because it's all about that cheddar. Partially about those cheese products. So
all right.
What else you got? You got any closing statements?
If you would like to work at Premier Outdoor Living, get that application in quickly.
Well, by the time this comes out, like the process, if you're really good,
well, as we said, we're hiring more than one person, so it might take a little while.
Careers.premieroutdoorliving.
Yeah. But no, I think that...
Wait, what is it? careers.premieroutdoor@gmail.com.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it is. I also get in, not that I want to take on 1,000 more roles, but I do get in the habit of being like, well, do we really need to hire somebody? It's going to like it's like takes a long time and it is a lot of work and it is getting used to somebody and it kind of like flips everything on its side for a little while and,
So should we can it? Should we can it?
No.
Okay.
I was wrapping it up into a good thing. But it is ultimately a sign of growth that is very exciting. And it's nice that we don't have to, we're in the position that is good of like, we're losing someone and that is sad, but there's no hindrance to us hiring someone new. It's not going to be like a financial burden that we have to be like really strategic about. Like we are in a good position where we're like, this is growth and it's wonderful. And
sky's the limit,
I decided to look at it through an excited lens.
Yeah.
And change is fun.
Can be, or can be scary.
Sure, can be.
But if you're not scared, then you ain't working.
Exactly.
You should always be terrified.
So.
Right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
But anyway, I'm excited. I'm excited.
Good final thoughts there.
Yeah, it's
good final thoughts.
It's gonna be. Do you have any final thoughts? Did you want to have your Jerry Springer moment?
I feel like you just had it, so I don't want to steal your thunder by having my own moment.
But you want to have your own moment.
Do you want me to have a moment? No, I'll save it. What I do want to say is, if you could be so kind as to leave us a review, hit subscribe on whatever app you are listening to this on.
Yes.
And we are also on YouTube. All of the episodes are in video format on YouTube, Hardworking Happy Hour.
Yeah.
And connect with us on Instagram at Hardworking Happy Hour. It's a good place to give us some feedback, talk with us. We're so lonely.
Yeah.
And we're down one person, so we're just one person more lonely on our crew.
Yes.
Keep us company, hit us up, and tell us what you want to hear about.
Yeah. And also, if you want to send in your bad sales story, feel free to hit the link in the bio, send us it that way, or just DM us. That's also fine. And also, I mentioned it last week, but I want to say it again. We will be at H&A. So
H&A!
If you want to come watch some live podcasts, we're going to be doing some live podcasts there, which we will talk about a little bit later.
Yeah. Well, have a great week, everybody. We do love you, and we care for you deeply.
So intimate.
Till next time, this has been the Hardworking Happy Hour.
See you next week.